Hey y'all. Hopefully everybody's gonna be tuning in tonight. This is gonna be a comedy show for those that are interested in comedy. Okay. It's called the Cowboy Comedy, by Cowboy JD. King Ranch Comedy is what the name of this is. So those of you that you want a good laugh, this video will be for you. Okay. If you're not into laughter, then it's it may not be for you. Okay, but if you are wanting a good laugh here tonight, you guys can tune in and watch because this is all about comedy TV. Okay, so this hat that I have on right now is a horseback riding hat. And yes, I know that I'm not riding a horse right now, but this is going to start the first night of the Cowboy Comedy TV, whatever. Yes, I'm wanting to be on TV. If I wasn't, a person that didn't want to be on TV, this is something that is involving whoever. But we're going to get right into this. So once people start tuning in, we're going to actually do what this is. What I'm going to do as of right now, I'm going to turn this fan off and we're going to get right into the video here. So I just turned off the fan. As you guys can see, yes, I'm probably going to get hot, but that's besides the point of this whole 9 yards of what we're seeing here tonight. Okay, this video is mainly for you guys because I'm wanting to make people laugh. And like I said, this is Cowboy JD, Comedy TV, King Ranch, whatever. So here we go with this. We're going to get down to the business here, okay? Because I'm only on here until 7:30 or however long this comedy TV is going to, But we're going to get right into business here. Uh, so this is comedy, okay? So, all right. What do they call an alligator? Or I mean, yeah, what do they call an alligator? You might not know, but it's they call an alligator. What do they call an alligator with a vest? You might not have heard of it, but they call it an investigator. Okay? All right. So, you might not have heard of this one, but what do they call a deer with no eye? What do they call a deer with no eye? Let's see here. It's going to be no eye deer. See there? No eye deer. Now, you might say, within the business, it's no eye deer. Okay? So, um, so that's what they call, you know, a no eye deer. A no ID or a no eye deer is a no eye deer. Okay. So we got two things down in the books right now. An alligator is called an investigator because it's wearing a vest. What do they call an alligator or a deer? No eye deer. Okay. So next thing is, okay, what do they call uh what okay, here's another thing. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Okay, there's the other one. All right. Now, the main part of the story is if you are not wanting laughter or whatever it may be, but this right here is Cowboy JD's King Ranch Comedy TV. So, with that being said, within the books here, okay, uh, what do they call? Uh, I'm trying to think of another one for y'all. Okay, I mean, even though that there was a time that I went to a grocery store or whatever and made me have a great fall. Oh, that's another one. See you in the great fall. Have a great trip. See you in the fall. All right, there's another one. So that one there was already been said. Okay, but then with the other reasons here, which is the other reasons, you're going to be a cowboy within and always a cowboy. So no matter what you are, you're always going to be a cowboy telling jokes. But you don't want to fall off a horse. Don't lean too far up because you might go woohoo. See you in the great fall. Um, so then you got that. Okay. Don't make a sharp turn on a bicycle because then you might do like me, almost flip the bike. That's with three wheel bike that I rode today going to the stir. And you might know, or you might say, or you might ask, what's a stir? I'm talking about a store, not a stir. So then you might say, what's a cowboy got to do with a cattle? Or you might say, see you in the great fall. But I'm also going to tell you something else. Okay, when I went to go get my blood work done, okay, I said to the blood work doctor, to the nurse that was giving my blood or taking my blood, I said, "Can we go slow?" She said, "We're going to go as fast as possible." I said, "Please don't." She said, "I was just kidding with you." But I'm here and I'm alive. So y'all might say, what's it got to be in a comedy? Well, here it is. Okay. I'm trying to be as funny as Larry the Cable Guy. But you gotta be what you gotta be when it comes into comedy. You gotta be smart to be smart. You might say what you gotta be to be, or A to B to B to B, or C to C to C. All right, I'm not trying to be a rapper here, but here's the thing: within a cowboy artist worker, or being in comedy like you guys want me to be in, just saying, perhaps you ain't nobody perfect around here, but you gotta do what you gotta do to be in within comedy. But you know, it is what it is. Okay. I'm but no, my sister can jump from the ceiling, but then it is what it is. But then all her energy or all of her injuries that happens at her house is in the kitchen. Okay. She always gets hurt in the kitchen. What do I do? I laugh. But it ain't the smartest thing to do when you gotta laugh. No. But or my dad'll pick on me and say, "Oh, somebody got hurt." Joe's laughing. You know, it is what it is here. And let me tell you a little something while we're in comedy right now. Okay, me and my uncle played Grand Theft Auto 5, and we're doing a race. And I went on past where I had to be in the game because we were doing this racing mission. And I just went on past him. He did what he stopped like he was supposed to. Me, on the other hand, I went way on. I kept driving, okay, and I went over the thing, and I'm like, well, did I do it? And he's like, he started laughing, and he said, and then it was that funny. He said he had to say, "Did I do it?" Just like how I said it. And he wants to talk about, oh, I can't believe you said it like that. But it is what it is. And then there's a time and a place where I'm just driving my bicycle or whatever on a game because they have bikes on GTA or whatever, and I'll just be riding. He'll blow all my tires out with his gun, and then I'm like, "Why am I driving on rims?" But that's what he does to me. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that straight up. That's all he ever does. He likes to shoot my tires out and then go, "Buh." And then I'll tell him I'm on the game, and he don't even acknowledge me. That's rude right there. I'm gonna tell you that from the get go. That it's rude when you don't even acknowledge somebody on the game. Ain't nobody acknowledging anybody, man. I'm just gonna tell you that from the start, from the get go. But we are only here until 7:30. But I might go a little bit while longer, just because I like being the comedy artist here. Yes, if I let me tell you a little something. Let me tell you a little something right quick. I'm gonna tell you, if I'm just walking across the street on a darn PlayStation or whatever, he comes out of nowhere. And I'm talking about my uncle right now. He'll come out of nowhere and he'll be just running right through me. I'm like, you ran me over. No, I didn't run you over. Running you over is just running you over to where I kill you. I just plowed right through you. I said, no, that's not how it works like that. Okay? You ran me over to where I went flying over the top of your car. That's running me over. No, I just hit you. And then well, I'm gonna tell you a little something else here. Okay? Fellas, I'm gonna tell you a little something else here. All right. He gets on my nerves bad enough to where I can't do nothing to help myself. Okay? It's a career and it's a business careerist when it comes into the business or whatever it may be. But I'm gonna tell you from the time and he wants to sit there and tell me, oh, you're not a cowboy. Cowboys ain't real. Only on TV. Listen here. I'm a real cowboy. No matter what he says, I'm a real cowboy. I'm just going to tell you that from the start and from the get go. I'm a real cowboy, no matter what Jeff Harris says. But what about they're only real on TV? Well, that's besides the point right now. Okay? I'm a cowboy whether he likes it or not. Okay? Did he go to the store today and buy himself a cowboy hat? No. So he don't have a say on, oh, cowboys are only real on TV. He don't have a per se on that one. Okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you a little something else here. Being on TV comedy is the best thing in my life. And he wanna come into the comments, oh well, I don't get it. Oh, there's no such thing as a king's ranch. I ain't never seen one. When and if I come down, I'm gonna use my magnifying glass and I'm gonna walk around trying to find it. That's what it sounds like right there, buddy. Oh, you think of the concert? No. But he did say that, oh, I'm going to find the magnifying glass and I'm going to come up there with an if and I'm going to walk around the property to see if I can find me a king ranch. This, that, and the other thing. Listen here. There was a time and a place that my mom was around and she told me to go brush my teeth. This is the best one here, okay, y'all? I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. that there was a time and a place that my mom was around, okay? And we all miss her. I'm not gonna lie, but she will be missed. But there was a time that she told me to go brush my teeth here, and so I went and I did what I was told. I went and brushed my teeth, and she come back and she goes, "Well, you better be brushing your teeth, son." I said, "I am, Mama." The next thing you know, she come down the hallway. She made sure that I was brushing my teeth, doing the right thing that I was supposed to be doing. Okay. Make sure you get your other side of your teeth. I said, "Which side? Can you say it?" It was hilarious from that time on. And I'm gonna tell you, she will be missed up until this day. Now, there's always a time and a place for every little thing, but this one here was a little funny. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. Okay. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little something. You ain't gotta be funny because you're always gonna be telling some jokes, whether or not you're a good one. Okay. This is Cowboy King Ranch, whatever it may be, but it's always gonna be the way you would want it. You want to be in a cattle drive, you got to get to it. But no, you got to be what you got to be, but you ain't got to rush a career. Okay. Now, let me tell you something else that was a little funny. Okay. Let me tell you a little something else that was a little funny. What really ain't funny. Okay. My uncle likes to use these apps. Okay. To where I'm sitting on a brick. This was my very first YouTube live. I'm out there in the backyard and I'm making my YouTube video. I think this was my very first YouTube video or my second day of doing it. But anyway, I'm sitting out on a brick and somebody in the family had took a picture of me sitting on a brick. My uncle takes that brick out with his app that he uses and puts it in the commode. I'm just going to tell you, he takes that brick that I was sitting on in the YouTube video and turns it into a commode. Now I could show you, but I ain't got that picture on my phone no more. I guarantee it. Now I'm gonna tell you. The other day, I'm gonna tell you when I first got my 3-wheel bike, he wanted to mention, "Oh, do you remember when you first got that bike?" I said, "Yeah, I remember when I first got it. You had your arms crossed." I said, "Yeah. What about it?" And you said nobody was gonna help you fix it or put it together. I said, "Yeah, that's right." He said, "Well, I'm going to send you this picture of what I saw." So he sent me the picture of what he saw, but with my arms crossed and the bike just still in pieces, but with flames. He said, "That's what I saw." I said, "That ain't true because after a while we put all the pieces together and we put it together and I started riding it." He wanted to say, "Boo-hoo," like he always does. And let me tell you, on this other YouTube video where I was still doing lawn care, he made me so mad to where I say, "Jeff, if you're gonna do this, get off." You know, that was the most funniest one there. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys can go back and look at it. But this right here is comedy TV, and I want to be on the real TV one day with a microphone in hand. But then I kept driving on the YouTube video. No, I'm just kidding. Not on YouTube. But I was playing the GTA Grand Theft Auto game. Me and my Uncle Jeff Harris were doing I guess, a mission or something, some type of race. He had to go to his right place, and he did the right thing, but I sure did. I, I'm like, "What are you stopping for?" I kept going right on past him in this race. Went over the cliff in my car, talking about, "Did I do it?" Now, let me tell you, okay? You ain't got to be perfect, but I'm going to tell you, ain't nobody perfect. It's kind of like this going down, going down. Did I do it? Just kidding with you, y'all. Now, being the best part of this, comedy TV, King Ranch, Cowboy something JD, King Ranch comedy. You got to be the right person to do what you got to do to be the person that you are now. Now, I'm going to go horseback riding within the next few days now. No, I'm just kidding. But when and if we move to Kentucky here, you got to do what you got to do. And JD King Ranch will be here. Cowboy King Ranch JD comedy right here. Now, there is one day that I will be on real TV, international real TV, with a microphone in hand, talking about, oh, one day this, one day that. But you got to do what you got to do. You know, it is what it is when you got to be what you got to be. And, talking about this is making a blessing out of me because cowboy careering is the best thing in life, what you can be as of right now, comedy. Yeet, yeet. Okay. Now I'm more into like Dukes and Hazard, Daisy Dukes, you know. But as me as a guy, I'm gonna tell you, I would never wear me some Daisy Dukes and go out in the real world. I would never do it. Now, if I had me a good wife and a good husband, no, I'm just kidding. But no, if I had me a good wife, I would never let her wear some Daisy Dukes. I'll be like, you see what you're wearing right now? You ain't allowed to wear them with me. Go change them Daisy Dukes right there. Put something decent on, girl. Because you ain't going out like that. I don't know who you think you're going out like that with. Because it ain't going to be me there, missy. That's what I'll be like if I had me a wife. There ain't nobody going to be wearing no Daisy Dukes around me. You know, I'll put my foot down. I will put my foot down if somebody tries going out like that, wearing Daisy Dukes out there with me like that. But I love what I'm doing right now. I just love my new career, being a cowboy and being what I gotta be. Now I'm gonna tell you, from the time that I wake up early and the time that I put my boots on, put my hat on, I mean some business, man. I mean, let's go out and get some work done. Let's go check some fences, man. Let's go ride up some horses. Let's go riding every morning. Especially if I had a four-wheeler, I'd be riding with my darn cowboy boots and hat and jeans and whatever, looking like a cowboy riding on a four-wheeler. Yeah, that'll really set the mood there. Now, let me tell you, I got up one day, put on some shorts with some boots and probably a cowboy hat. Yeah, that's right. And my aunt come out. She was standing in the kitchen. She looked at me, and everybody got a kick out of me wearing some shorts and a cowboy hat, shorts, a cowboy hat, and boots. Everybody darn got a kick out of me wearing cowboy hat, cowboy boots with shorts, and probably a tank top. But that's a real redneck right there. Let me just tell you, it really sets the mood when you can do that. Everybody gets a laughter out of it. Now let me tell you, I wouldn't just go anywhere looking like a redneck like I did that one day, where everybody done got a kick out of me. But the only one place where I went to was my sister's. Bathing suit bottoms, cowboy boots, and tank top. But I wouldn't just go anywhere looking like that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, from the start and from the bottom, that if I had me a wife and she put on some Daisy Dukes, I wouldn't let her go out like that with me. You know, I'll tell her to go change right quick. if she put on some Daisy Dukes, man. So you know what it is, what it is. Gators. Let me tell you, there was one other day that I got in my darn car on GTA. Drive past Jeff. He blew me up. He does. Sometimes if I yell, is what he says to me. It's I don't understand it that often. But if I yawn, he's like, who yawns like that? You know? Or if I make a funny sound, it's he don't understand it. You know what I mean? Or if I'm out there in the yard one day, he don't he, he laughs about it. He don't even ask me, "Oh, are you okay?" It's always or who yawns like that. You know, it is what it is. But you know what you got to do is what you got to do. And he goes, "You want to know what I heard? Is that you went horseback riding and fell off your horse? That was not true. I stayed on that horse." But then he sends me a picture. "Oh, this is what I seen." No, you didn't see that. I was still sitting on my horse. "Oh, you could ask anybody." No, it wasn't true. So it's a Big 10-4, but you know it is what it is. And let me tell you a little something about him. All right, if he ever fell off of something, I would laugh. I would, especially if I didn't see it and he told me about it. I would laugh. Oh man, I would laugh. I would get me a good kick out of it, you know. But let me tell you something. Broadcasting myself riding to a store today was a blessing. Let me tell you that much. And you know, there'll probably be a day where I go to another store dressed as a cowboy and go, "What's up, man? How you doing?" But then there was a day, let me tell you, my Uncle Jeff was down here in Florida for this one. He was staying here with his wife, and it was only shout out goes to Jocelyn. He, you know, he was down here. I went riding, and I said, I was on a bike, and I went down the road. I said, "Hey, man." He's like, "You said, hey, man," and there was nobody there. I said, "Yes, there was." "No, there wasn't." And guess what? He busted me in a lie right there and then. Then the next day, the next day, you know, I'm riding my bike the next day. Okay, I come back. He said that was a short bike ride. Yeah, because somebody yelled at me. Yelled at you? Yeah, somebody yelled at me. "Why are you coming down here on the bike looking at houses or whatever? Looking suspicious?" And he goes, "What was she?" I said, uh, "I want to say she was part English and part Spanish." Everybody laughed at me because of that. Oh my God, everybody rolled. Let me tell you a little something, man. Don't you ever say something like that again, you know? But you know, it is what it is. And, you know, and it was, it's everybody's, you know, doing whatever it is and they're doing what they got to do, you know, and everything like that. So, next thing you know, we'll be playing the game together. Back to the whole Grand Theft Auto thing, playing with Jeff. He'll hide from me. He'll get a gun that just about takes everything away to where I can't see him, but he can still see me. That type of gun. Next thing you know, I get shotgun blasted or whatever. I'm like, what did I die from? And all I hear, "Boo!" It's like that's berserkness right there, man. I'm gonna tell you that right there is berserkness. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Next thing you know, he'll do it again. I'm like, what did I die from? Boo! That's a whole nother thing. That's two times in a row that I got darn shotgun blasted by him on the Grand Theft Auto. Am I mad about it? No. Do I appreciate it? No. Do I like being picked on 24/7? That's a big 10-4 no. Now, let me tell you something. My favorite movie was Smokey and the Bandit. You know, the Smokey and the Bandit was my big time favorite TV show, movie, whatever. And now I know Smokey, the Bandit, the Bandit of Smokey. He was he played for the Bucks. I didn't know that until my uncle. Shout out goes to Jim Earhart talking about he played for the Bucks. But me giving shout outs in this whatever you want to call it here isn't very, whatever. But it's a happy ending right here because every each time that I do something like this, it's perfect, y'all. Now let me tell you something else that's funny. Okay, cops pull up. Okay, my sister's my my, my aunt and everybody was out of town. They were up in Kentucky. Okay, staying somewhere, visiting, and my sister's down there sleeping. It's me and my dad and my sister that we're all still here at the house. All right, we got electric and everything, so we're good. Next thing you know, I wake up. I'm the only person that's awake, and I see cops out the window. Okay, I run down there to my sister's room. I said, "Hey, sis." Jack starts barking and everything. The dog starts barking, and she's like, "What's the matter with you? I'm in here trying to sleep and whatnot." Oh, there's cops and everything. Next thing you know, I go out there. I go. She she wakes up. She's all mad at me. What did you do? I'm like, there's cops outside. What did you do, son? What'd you do? Next thing you know, I'm like, I didn't do nothing. She goes, what are you scared of? I said, a big nothing. She said, well, you ain't got to be nothing. If you didn't do anything, you ain't got nothing to be scared of. Huffing and puffing at me when I'm scared of the law. That's. But it is what it is when it comes to business like this. My sister all getting mad at me because I woke her up because of the law enforcement. What did you do? You know, she was still sleeping, and Jack started barking. Everybody was out of town. They were up in Kentucky and whatever. Man, I'm gonna tell you that right there, man. She wasn't happy. You can't go waking up a bear. I'm gonna tell you. You wake up a bear, you're waking up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm gonna tell you. You know that wasn't a very good day. And then she calls my aunt while she's up there in Kentucky trying to spend time with family or whatever, talking about it is what it is. Talking about Joe woke me up. He seen the law enforcement, and I said, "What did you do?" Or something like that. But when I see law enforcement out, I get terrified, even though I don't do nothing wrong. You know. Let me just go ahead and tell you here. Now, as much as I eat, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. As much as I eat, I uh, I ain't uh, I ain't gonna lie. But as much as I eat, I feel like I could be in a contest, an uh, an eating contest. See how much I can eat. But doing that, I probably wouldn't survive. Now I'm gonna tell you. I told my uncle this, Jeff Harris. Um, I told my uncle Jeff, all the time. Tell a family member. Oh, out of all the times that you go to work and stuff like that, uh, over here at stores or whatever, I wish I can go to work for you or work with you. Oh, I don't think you could handle it. I think you would eat all the product or take all the product, and I think I would catch you sleeping on the job. You know, he don't think I can handle working. But it is what it is. And there's one thing that I want to mention because I think everybody here missed out on it. What do you call an alligator that has no eye? No idea. Now let me ask you this: what do you call an alligator that's wearing a vest? An investigator. Now let me tell you, I learned that off of Google, but I'm not that wasn't nobody's business. But being within this career and this new career, it's a blessing to be within the career. Okay. Now I'm hoping that I can be on real outlaw TV or whatever, holding a microphone up to my mouth, talking about this stuff. But I guess it's a matter of time doing this career. Oh, you might say, what's comedy really about? Oh, it's just a play. It's just being funny, and it's got to be a happy ending. So now let's say I got crazy dreams about this being cowboy stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, it's a blessing to be what you got to be or do. Oh yeah, and when you get somebody knocking on the door like that, it gets so funny, man. And you want to do what you got to do when it comes into that whole business careerist and stuff like that. And then there's a time and a place where you kind of want to, do the whole fitting in, but you don't definitely want to go, you know, crazy. Now, let me also tell you this. Uh, there was a time that I went to work with the Newman family here, okay, with a whole nother landscaping company and this, that, and the other. There was a dried up pond. We were doing a leaf cleanup, this, that, and the other. And I'm gonna tell you, I walked. He told me to mow something, okay, and I did this, that, and the other. And then his boy Logan, or his boy, shout out goes to Logan, and and he just he's like, if you want a break or anything, you can take a break. And I give him the lawnmower, this, that, and the other. And next thing you know, I went to go get him a thing of water, whatever or something. Oh, a weed eater or something like that. Or I think I was trying to go take over the mower so he could have a break. But long story short, here I go back to meet him, and I'm walking right across the pond. Right, not mentioning that there might be, not to mention there might be mud or whatever. I walk right out in the middle of it, get myself stuck. Now let me ask you this: have you ever heard of a lawnmower getting stuck? What about a human being getting stuck? What about a human being getting stuck? I mean, for real. I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. I said to that boy that I was working with and helping out, I've heard of a lawnmower getting stuck, but what about a human being? It was crazy. I'm gonna tell you that was the craziest part of the day, man. And that was a long days of work right there. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. Now there was a day that my mom was still alive, and we went up here to the park, and they had a rope swing. Okay, they had a rope swing. Everybody went out and played on it, whatever. I'm just a swinging across that pond. Next thing you know, my hand slipped off the rope, and I fell right into that pond of that pond of the lake, the lake where the rope swing was. Fell right into there. Man, I had to get me cleaned up right quick. Next thing you know, we're living somewhere out in Lutz. My uncle Lester, man, I'll tell you, another family member of mine. I just had got cleaned up by my shout out goes to my aunt again. She had said, You know, not to mention I had spent the whole entire weekend with my family. All right, over there in Loot somewheres out there, and Lester, my family member, I'm gonna tell you, man, he took me out there and I done fell right into that attention pond or whatever. It had all kinds of nasty slime green or whatever in there. I finally get out by Lester and I walk back up towards the house of Lutz. My aunt sees me the way I am. I'm going to tell you, she wanted to straight up kill my Uncle Lester for getting me gummed up again from doing what I was doing out there in that pond. After she done got me cleaned up, she said, Lester, now what were you thinking trying to get him to drown in that pond over there? Man, I'm gonna tell you, now every time I mention it, she goes, Man, don't get me going on that one. But yeah, she wanted to kill my Uncle Lester for getting me in that pond out there. I'm gonna tell you. Let me just tell you. I've had a good life. I'm gonna tell you, I have had me a good life. T minus 3 minutes. Oh, I'm 3 minutes in, huh? Wow. But you gotta be what you gotta be, and it is what it is when it comes into the business here. And you gotta be what you gotta be. Wow. And you also gotta be what you gotta be when it comes into this business careering. And let me just go ahead and tell you the real joke here. The real joke is, but no. But what my uncle likes to say is that he likes to say here. I'm going to tell you that he likes me trying to pretend that I'm puking. Or let me tell you this: my dad on the other end here, when you take a burp, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll puke." Let me just go ahead and tell you that. Now, the other part of this is when we hear a squirrel outside, he wants to. We were sitting on the swing one day, and it was just me and him hanging out. He hears this squirrel, man, squawking away. I'm gonna tell you, and he's like, "Man, I wish I could shoot that thing right now because you can hear that thing squawking." He loves himself some squirrel when it comes to squirrel junk. I ain't never had it, but I sure would like to try it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that much. Now, I'll also tell you this: when you gotta, when you, I'm gonna tell you, I've dated way back in my life now, and this darn chick that I'm talking about right now, she had so much baby fever. I'm gonna tell you, man, she was so down to having a baby with me, and I'm like, man, somebody's got to do something. Next thing you know, my sister goes and sticks something in her mailbox, man, and I'm blessed for it. You know, I'm so blessed for it, and I'm gonna tell you from the start. Don't you start dating a goofball like that with baby fever so much to where she wants to have a darn child. Man, because you ain't going to be ready for it when it comes down to that. Yeah. But, you got to do what you got to do when it comes into that. It is what it is when you come back to that. But I'm also going to tell you, okay, when you got to do what you got to do what you got to do. Now, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And when you come back to this, which will be within a few weeks, I will be more funny than what I was tonight. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate it so much. And tune in for more videos. There will be more videos, not to mention of me riding my bike around the neighborhood. But stay tuned for it if you can. And I do appreciate it for y'all tuning in. It was a blessing to have you guys watching. If you guys came in at the last minute of this YouTube live, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be back on here for more videos, and we're just going to go from there. Stay tuned.